So
Haley, things
Daniel
looked
asked
really
me
good.
to
I think if there was one
review,
change that I'd
demonstrate
have you
how
do
to
to
use the
what's been
distractor
done and then
generator
going
or use it
forward,
more
it's in
effectively.
the example
I think there
sentences.
are
We've
several ways
tagged
that
the
you can do
word
this. So
that's
if you're
being
already
targeted
working
with HTML
with
tagging,
and
that
what
was
you're doing is
useful
working
for some
you
of the
don't
other
necessarily
tools that
try
we
to
were
disrupt
doing, our
what you're
web.
doing.
I'll just review how I
tools,
use
the distractor generator
here.
when I'm
It's
selecting
distracting and kind of confusing. So
we
starting
kept the tagging
here in the auto population so that we would know which of the
page.
words to underline. But if
The
you could go
distractors
through
that we're
and
choosing
underline
need to mask
the words that are
so
between the two markers,
they'll be used
on each
the multiple choice
slide.
correct answer
and
will
then
be generally
do a
we
find
want to
and
choose
replace
distractors that can be used as camouflage for that correct answer.
And
so in my earlier email
tags.
I mentioned that part of speech, all of the distractors should be from the same part of speech.
Blank.
Then we like to look at length
from
as one aspect of what makes words
from
similar
across the PowerPoint.
So the distractors that we choose
in order for them
so
to
what the slides, the 12 slides
function as
that have those example sentences
will
be
like
close to the same in length
the word
as the word generally.
sentence, and then the word
After that, we like to look for things
targeted,
kind of morphological features.
Let me know if you have any questions.
Similar
but hopefully
to
this was
the key,
just a quick change to what
correct
you've been
of
doing.
the multiple choice
Thanks.
answers, but at the same time avoiding anything that might have similar meanings or share meanings with that key. So there's a couple of ways to go about using the test generator. I've already been using it some. What I've done here is I've sorted the distractor generator by part of speech first, so all of my adverbs are together. I'm looking at it for the number of characters next, so the length of the word, and then I've sorted by the word itself to alphabetize my options within those characteristics. That's a good way to bring features of the word that might be similar at the beginning of the word together. We could use the first 2 letters columns or the first 3 letter columns to do something similar. After I've done that, then I'm going to look through my spreadsheet for my word. Generally, the words around it are going to share some of these features that I'm looking for them to share. And from there, I'll choose ones that I feel like, again, are similar maybe in characteristic, but don't share any of the meaning. So for example, currently and generally are far enough away from each other. Certainly would also be different. It has some of the same features visually to someone who doesn't know what the word means. We've got some overlap there, but none in meaning. Looking down, instantly and would be good. Obviously. Here we've got words, again, there's some overlap. These two share kind of their initial letter. That can be a good masking tool to have 2 of your distractors that share features when they don't share features with the keyword. All of them I feel pretty good about how they avoid overlapping meaning with the keyword, while there might be some overlap in meaning with each other. That's okay. It's just the keyword that we want to avoid having that meaning overlap with. So I think that's a good start for us in selecting distractors that work with generally. Let's look at another one here. It's Paige's lucky day. We'll look again, this time for education. This is a good one because of this last 3 letters, ION, to look at. If I look for education now, the way my sort is, it's not going to show up because in addition to sorting it, I also filtered out all of my nouns. So I could do that same thing using my filter. Now looking again, I'm going to see where education is. Let's go ahead and run my sort again. This time I'm going to not constrain here by word, but I'm going to look for the last three letters, that ION, to be the next characteristic. I'm actually going to have it look for the last three letters first. So it's going to give me all of my nouns, then all of the nouns that end in ION, and then it's going to group together those nouns that have the same number of characters. If I do my search again, this time I see that education here is now kind of embedded among three words that could work really well. Education, situation, condition, operation, direction. I feel good about how these look relative to education. It might be helpful for me to go back to my distractor map and look for education. So education here, it would be the correct answer in a multiple choice for the word background. So for example, we could have the stem, her background is in math. If I look at the distractors that I'm choosing here, her education is in math, that works well. Her situation is in math, that could be, again, with background and situation or background and condition, I could come into some conflicts there where background shares meaning with condition, background in some cases maybe would share meaning with situation. So I may want to reselect these distractors to avoid that possible conflict that I didn't see just looking at the word themselves. So going back to this, I think solution would be better than situation. And let's see, reduction would be better than the other part of speech. So in addition to looking at the distractor's form, looking and just kind of cross-checking with some of the potential use cases for that distractor can be a good practice as well. We'll do one last one that again looks at a different part of speech, some different characteristics here. Wide is a shorter word, so I'm not necessarily going to have the same abundance of options to choose from in terms of four-letter adjectives. So I may need to be a little bit more flexible, look outside of just those that have the exact same count in the number of characters. I had previously filtered out my nouns. This time I'm looking at my adjectives. There's not a real clear feature here in terms of the number of characters. This might be a good example with where I look at the frequency of it and have that frequency really be my only characteristic that I'm looking for. So anything that's kind of similarly frequent to wide but is an adjective could be a good choice for me to select from. Just out of curiosity, let's go ahead and filter out kind of anything that's not within that margin of error. It's actually maybe fastest for me to go deselect first and then go. So now this is showing me all of the adjectives that are similar in frequency to the word wide and plus or minus one character. Again, I want to look for things that are avoiding the same part of any meaning overlap. Wide, main, close has that final E. Huge also has a final E. Nice has a final E. Just kind of, again, looking at the case scenarios where wide might be used. I can find those here in columns F through I. This is an instance. Let's see, the keyword is extensive. If I look there, huge is one of these words that shares meaning also with extensive. So already I kind of know to look back at my distractor and not choose wide and huge. Look for another one from there. Maybe looking for one that ends like main. Oh, this is a great one. Fine. I've got some meaning overlap here with this distractor. I've got that N and N and N. Again, we're creating just kind of some commonalities between the distractors where we might overlook someone who doesn't know what wide means, might overlook looking for some of the similarities here. Hopefully that's helpful. Again, there's no perfect answer. If there were, we would have built a machine to kind of do the selection process. We want the thoughtfulness that your eyes added to the distractor generator can use. So I'll post this on YouTube and send you a link. Don't watch it if you don't feel like you need to, but hopefully it's helpful if you do.